Hello and welcome. My name is Nilaus. This is a base review in the series of Factorio Engineering. This is a base created some time ago by two faithful members of the community, Dirkus and Thierry88. This is a C-block base and it's about 800 hours of play. So what I'll be doing here is trying to walk through this absolutely stunning massive base in 20 minutes or less. So you give you an idea about what a C-block base could look like. So let's just start with getting a scope of the base. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So I'll try to explain what we're looking at here. You can see the structure of this is absolutely fantastic. And it just keeps growing. So this is the entirety of the base. It is very big. And then we also have down here a little bit of solar panels as well. So how am I going to do all of this? Well, the first thing that I should note is the base is not running very well. It is not designed towards optimal UPS, and it has been grinding to a halt because of the scale of it. Let's have a look at how this is going. So what I want to do is I will pick up the things that have been prepared for me, such as a nice power armor and a bit of landfill so I can get off this island. There, and you can see the speed, the warning speed has been increased because this is the starting area where you can see here there is a death counter. So you have Thierry and Dirkus, how many times they have died each. Just here we also have helicopters for easy transport, but I will be using mainly teleports for transport because it is simply not possible to move around this fast. The basic concept, we can just look at the starter base here. This is a tour train. It doesn't really work anymore because it doesn't go anywhere and trains are too slow. Here you can see how slow the train is because of the UPS reduction here, because of the size. But this is a little LTN demo, a logistics train network. The whole base is designed around the logistics train network. And this base is, oh, it looks like lightning actually. I thought it was like lightning crackling here, but it's inserters. So this is just to showcase how logistics train network is working. It's actually quite neat to see this working. And the whole base is built around logistics train network. So that's also one of the things we want to see. We should take a look at. Let's look at starting the structure of the base. We can see that here. You can see it is built around some city blocks of this size. You can see how many there are. And then there are sort of like small ones in between. And you look at the intersection here, they are excessive. And there is a roboport network. See if I can illustrate this as well. There's a logistics, there's a roboport network on top of the trains which can be used for transporting various things as well. This is primarily for logistics provider, just for construction. So you can stand anywhere and you can request it. It does take a bit of time for things to arrive though. All right, so let's have a look. In terms of C-block, it all starts one place. So let's start at that place. Oh, hold on. Let me just wrap up this part. So one of the key things you can see here, there are 4 lanes for the trains, and they each go out here, and then there are 3 stops for each of these city blocks. So you can do 3 plus 3 potentially, plus 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, and 3. So there's plenty of opportunities to do trains. One of the key design parameters of what the Dirkus and Thierry have done is that they want to design within the constraints of a city block, and everything has been designed at the time of creation with perfect ratios in mind. So you can see here these are Mark II machines, but everything here is built exactly to ratio. This is one of the earlier ones, but as it progresses later on, later processes will be used by bigger or better machines. However, coming back to these and upgrading them would mean a complete overhaul. So one of the key things, and one of the very interesting things is it is built with the tech available at the time of creation. And let's have a look at where it all starts in terms of, does that work? This is not working. That's not the one I wanted. That one. All right, so here we are. This is where everything starts when you're playing C-block. If you are not aware of it, it all starts with sludge. So the way that they've decided to do it, you have here electrolyzers Mark III. They're all churning out stone bricks. Nope, they're turning out slag. Slag goes in. All the oxygen and hydrogen here is provided, but also provided to a network, I'm sure here, but any excess is simply flared off. Now this part here, all of the stone, the slag, remember, all the slag goes up. The slag is going into a process here. You can see some of the things are working, but a lot of things are not working. Because the base is, I want this to be idling, but it is working. Right, so all of this, you can see the amount of wires and everything is how this is controlled. So it goes in here and it goes through the normal process of getting it into slurry and into the slag slurry, into mineralized water, and mineralized water, that is the juice that gets everything flowing. And that is get fed into, where are you? Here. Really? Oh, that's the reason. Okay, so scrolling up. Let's look at it. Stone slag is produced here. Mineral sludge is produced here. Same up here. You can see how many times it's replicated. One, two, there. All this, and then it is provided into the network all the way up in here. So this is where we have all of the mineral sludge that feeds the rest of the base. So everything starts with mineral sludge, and this is where it all comes from. So these are filled up. See, the base is working. And then let's have a look at where it goes from here. Now this is where it goes. It goes to pretty massive location here. Let's zoom out and take a look at it from the base. It is the sapphirite. But when we look at sapphirite, we should also consider it the stifferite, stereotype, bemonium, rubite, crucinium, and givolite. Man, it's been a while since I've been playing Seabuck and Bob's mods, Angel's mods. So here, this is again, they are created by Crystallizer Mark 1. No modules, no anything, because this is at the time of creation. This was what was done. It is just filling up the entire belt here. Getting it in, you can see how they're working. This is consuming exactly all the stuff that is here. It produces, and that will then go in here, being collected into this location where we have we're resorting it. So the from here, then it goes up and continues up the process. This is quite an interesting one. About okay, the idea here is this crushed stone will be taken to the side. Let's see from here. And that will be going into the network. This will be used for all sorts of weird things, such as more mineral sludge as well. Mineralized water. No, mineral sludge. Sorry, I forget the names. But it also goes up. And here there are red lines. So these 4 red lines, you can see they are moving. They move up here into the next location. This is where now we are making sapphirite chunks. The chunks are made here. You can see how well they are being consumed. All 4 belts are being entered in here. One of the key design parameters for Dirkus and Thierry when building this is that they are converting. They have so many different ways of sorting, but their preference is to do the pure sorting. So that means all the 4 belts go in here and continue, and then produce this part, which will both be provided to the network and continue. Oof, don't get run over, that would be so embarrassing. Here the chunks continue. Chunks go up. Again, we have lanes and then become from chunks to crystals. Again, consuming all the 4 red belts entirely. Basically, it means that at the point where here, some go into provided to network and the rest go on. Most of the time this one will be idle, and it's only this one that continues. Again, likewise, goes in here, but the rest continues. And getting to crystals, we now have 4 red belts of crystals coming in, pretty much at least. That goes into the storage chest that will control that some go into the network and some continues into the purified, which we have here. That goes into purified, and this is then the purified that will be sorted, because you can see here the craziness that is, and that's one of the very, very key parts of this base. So what happens here is it goes into this location and it stops here when everything is equal to 1000, then it stops the belt. And the way it's done is it will provide things into the network. So this is 151, this is not enough. So this one will then add the priority to get the sync. So if anyone in the network needs sync, this one will be taken so that it can start flowing again. And that principle is continued for all the other materials as well. You can see here, if there's something we are not consuming, then that will be stuck and it'll slow down. This means that if there's any process that requires copper, for example, it will look at all the places. See here, basically those 6 items here that are being provided out. Have a look at that, have a look at these. They are now being consumed first. I mean, like this one. This one is now available for loading. But if that's not the case, then we also can get the lesser. I know that, hold on, we'll take a look at this, because the mixed, all right, the purified sorting will always have the highest priority. But if there's more demand than you can get, because if you look at this one, let's say this one is a better example. If you need iron, you're not going to get iron from this one. So on top of that, there is the pure iron sorting, which we'll also can take a look at. But let's look at some of the more advanced sorting mechanisms. Here we are. This is another location. We are now in a different location of the base where we have the purified coming in. This is the most advanced one, and I just absolutely love. This is the best part of this base, in my opinion. It's the full belts of just flowing different colors. This is absolutely fantastic, and it's just all over the place. So this goes in here. You can see these are Mark II. All of it is built to scale, so it consumes everything and then provides 6 red belts. Interesting how it's 6 red. Oh, it's actually must be 4 red belts. It's just the way it's done. Yeah, it should actually be 6. It only requires 4. So this is where we are basically getting the what's it called, tungsten out. Now let's look at some of the crazy things here. Let's see. So tungsten, and then you can see like titanium. There's also here, what is this? This is gold, uranium for it. This is just for consistency's sake. Everything is done, but these will have lower priority than normal, than the other ones. Let's take a look at the cobalt as well. Where do we have some of the other ones? Here, aluminium, zinc. So this zinc versus the other one we saw that was overloaded, this one will not be active until the other one is consumed. And you see the items coming in, getting converted, some copper and iron as well. This one, iron here, is now the one where we provide iron to the base. All right, so let's look at some other advanced process here. This is done mainly for show, because at least from my perspective, it's not technically needed. This is the ferric and the cupric, the ferrous or the cupric process, where you do not need any of the mineral catalyst, but you take these 3 beautiful colors going in here, making the crushed ferrous ore. It can go in here, being where it becomes crushed, and that gives some fancy output here. Some of it goes in, some of it goes out. Yeah, so this is a great way. This is an absolute fantastic way to make iron, because you can use it with manganese and iron ore. You can see the manganese is stuck, but not the iron ore. So again, this one will not be producing until the manganese is consumed. Now, this continues because we now have the crushed stuff. The crushed will proceed into the space, and now I completely lose track of what all these crazy names are for. Yeah, ore powder, which again is being sorted and go out. And then again, the manganese is holding it up. Now at this point, it's down to 2 lanes. 2 lanes going in here. Now it gets the components become more and more advanced. These are requesting the chunks from that has been spun out from the different processes. Here they're making some kind of ferrous sludge. And remember, all of this is always built at ratio. That's the most beautiful thing about this. It's everything is built at ratio. Everything is built within city block size, and it's just somehow they always find it to be magically fitting. Some of them are absolutely crazy. So here we continue down this process, continue upwards to this process here, and then I don't even know if I should say finally, because no, it just keeps going. It just keeps going. Here. Where is it? It still goes up, and now that's might be, no, it's not even the last part. Ferrous anode sludge, ferrous essence, it just continues. And now we get this beautiful thing here, the ferrous crystal, because the ferrous crystal is absolutely essential because it is the only way to generate chrome. So you absolutely need this process, and as you can see here, the chrome is the name of the game. We have the chrome here ready, and that's everything else has been consumed, but the chrome is what we're doing all this for. So it's great to see the chrome is still available. Now let's look at the next part of the angels process, and that's going to be the ingot production. We're going to take one with titanium and gold because that looks beautiful, absolutely stunning. You can see these lines. Let's see where we actually start from. Again, look at the base. We are some random location inside the base. Let's see, we have to go out here from where it starts. Now I am completely lost. Yeah, here it comes in. Gold ore that we have created from both from the purified sorting, but also from the dedicated sorting. So it goes in here, gets processed. See, these ones are Mark 1 because this is what was available at the time of creation. Goes in here, and this is one of the most crazy things that has been built. This is perfect ratio, and it is, there is not a room for, well, there might be a bit of room for a light bulb here and there, but this is just absolutely crazy how fast, how close this is. But it generates a lot of belts of gold ingots outbound. Go in here. So the ingots, you can see here, gold is being used quite a lot. So that goes out, beautiful gold lanes. Beautiful gold lanes going in here, and also continue all the way up. Now this gets processed into liquids and becomes the golden soap bars, and that goes out with 8 red lanes out here, 8 red lanes, and that goes back out and gets provided to train stations like so. How about that? That is a lot of golden soap bars. Again, and this is really important to say, this is the same for all. So if we run through it, rush. We have over here, we have the titanium, which will then be titanium coils. So we have row upon row of titanium coils coming out here. This base is absolutely fantastic here, and there's a bit to be picked up, I suppose. So lots and lots of coils, and remember, this is for every single one. So think aluminium, lots and lots of aluminium. This is silicon, nickel, what else? Lead, tin, copper, iron, steel. Massive amounts of things. And also continuing the other way, we have silver, we have tungsten, and then some extra ones. Oh, there's actually a train coming in. That's excellent. It's nice to see the base is working. That's really much. So let's have a look at some of the actual ingredients that were produced, namely the electronics. The electronics is pretty absurd in the C block. So this is an interesting pathing here. Let's see. We are starting from up at this location. We are getting some of these in. I don't know where they're crafted, but we'll figure it out. They come in here. They're pretty easy to craft, but they go in. 2 lanes in here. Interesting how we are splitting so many out. Oh, that's outbound. Where's the inbound? Ah, here's the inbound. Yeah. Okay, so here we have copper and wood coming in. And that is just feeding in massive amounts of lines here. Go, 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 go. And that goes out. That feeds into the next tier, which somehow needs a lot of iron. Oh yeah, that's true. It needs iron, crazy amounts of iron. So big items here that all of it adds up. You can see how busy it is at this slow speed. It's running at 1/4 speed. And here they are, just producing rows upon rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I don't know how. That is 6, 12 lanes of red inbound. Well, it's actually not red inbound. It must be 12. You know, inbound, which means 6 red in outbound. Inbound, 6 red inbound, 6 red outbound coming out here. So now we have 6 lanes of these. And you can see it will actually decrease. Some of it will go into the network because it's used quite a lot. The 4 lanes of blue, now blue belts, is continuing. This is just awesome, just following how this continues. So here we start branching it off. It merges in together with these belts that we also need to see where they're coming from. This is coming from another process. Let's go down here. Wow, right. I mean, just wow. This is just plastic upon plastic coming in, going in here, becoming all of this, all of it just to make these rows coming out. And that's feeding into this location, making, I can't even recall what they're called, but the basic electronic boards. And that goes in together with the basic electronic circuits, or electronic circuit. They have some different name in the circuit processing mod. And they get merged together here to make the advanced circuits. Yes, they have a slightly different name. So now we get the advanced circuits. They come out here, out there, merging into 2 blue lines. You can see how it's decreasing. 2 blue lanes. Continue, continue, continue. This is not even full 2 blue lines, but it's more than 2 red lines for sure. We can just follow the... there we go. Let's see, where is the other part? We have to go up here. So this is also where it gets... So that goes out into the network. But if we... Oh, don't get run over. Also looking at this, we are starting here. Again, build massive amounts of these sub-ingredients going up here. This is for the blue. Looking these blue electronic processing boards going out here. The processing board going up, getting merged into becoming the advanced processing units, which also requires a lot of the greens. But the green ones are produced here, which only at this point is producing a single belt. So you can see those 12 lanes of the first little tier of circuits is just going up here. There we go. Here it comes out here. Comes the green circuits together with all of this massive things. So all of this, again, remember, built to scale, and it all adds up to, at the very end, where is it? Let's see. I think it's up here. That one. 1 lane of blue advanced circuits. It is absolutely crazy how this is working. Let's move on to something, another part of the base. Oops, let's go into the game there. This is the main bus that it more looks like some modern art thing. Oh, it flickers on the screen. So here it's basically just taking everything on the bus in order for it to try to make a main bus here with lots and lots of items coming in that are generally needed. And just the attempt of just making everything, and it goes back into the bus, more lanes here, getting fit into these locations where just everything is built. It is such a massive amount of work just to get all of these up, like random things here at each tier. And they started out, but then it got a bit crazy. But this bus is absolutely insane. If you want to do an Angel's Bob, no, this is even worse. This is a C-block bus. I would say don't do it. Try to find another way. LTN, city blocks. Let's have a look at some other interesting ingredients, like plastic. Let's have a look. We're starting now in this lane here. This is the plastic. This plastic is producing 300 plastic per second. Then, of course, with the calculation speed, let's try to figure out where it starts. So it starts from some hydrolysis. We get that in. Let's see this one. What is... This one is taking the synthesis gas. Synthesis gas... Nope. I'm getting a lot of oxygen in, hydrogen in. Lots and lots of hydrogen in. This is an inbound. No, it's an outbound. So we get the... What's it called? It's butane. Butane is outbound. Where is it starting? It starts over here. That's a lot of synthesis gas. Oof, I'm completely getting lost in this. So we have a lot of carbon being produced. And it goes into... It becomes some synthesis gas here. No. Where does the synthesis gas come from? Trace it back. Trace it back. I know we can do it. We can do it. We have the power. Ah, see, that's the way. It goes... It's producing carbon monoxide and hydrogen gas. Hydrogen gas is readily abundant because we get it from the very start electrolyzer. And carbon monoxide can be produced quite simply, I recall, from carbon. Then it makes carbon, and carbon dioxide can then be made into... We add some steam, and then it goes out here. And that will then be made into synthesis gas. Now we get it. Synthesis gas is then producing these. Synthesis gas, catalytic methanation, methane gas, ethane gas, and butane gas. And crazy, crazy, crazy. It goes on. And the part about where it goes, they are now going out into... Just trying to figure out where we have our... Those are inbound, that's outbound. I'm getting lost in this, completely lost here. This is going out there to the network. Let's go up here where we can see our plastic production. That comes up here. Now this is where we only take the methane gas. All the rest is just being thrown away from now. So the methane gas is being, then becomes methane, becomes... Yeah, methane to methanol, methanol to formaldehyde. Just continue, and there we have this advanced phenol plus formaldehyde process making liquid plastic and going all the way up here, and that makes lots and lots of plastic, 300 per second, which is absolutely critical for feeding the base. So all of this is starting from, this is one of the cool parts. This is the input, right? You're just inputting some... A lot, yes, carbon and some hydrogen, which is absolutely free, and you get massive amounts. Let's look at wood production, because if you are familiar with where are we? If you're familiar with C-block, you know that wood is horrible or difficult. This is it. This is where it starts. You get this is where it produced. So this is using these arboretum, which these are constrained by actually going out and finding some tree seeds, or actually producing the tree seeds. But this is again a massive amount. You can see how much wood is actually needed, and it's multiplied by 4. In here in the middle you have the supporting process. You're getting this process here is producing it's producing this mud, which we need, and here we are producing some fertilizer compost that will be used to make fertilizer somewhere. Yeah, the mud and the compost comes in and goes in somewhere. Goes here, and that becomes like this, becomes fertilizer. Oh, there's a tiny bit outside. Oh, let's not look at that. Here, and that one becomes fertilizer. Awesome. So the fertilizer goes in here, and that creates this stupendous amount of wood, which we'll need for primarily the initial circuits. Now let's look at one of the last bits I want to look at is the LTN. LTN depot, watch your step. Let's see if I take this. One of the key parts that they've done here is that they have separated. This is a very nice logistics train network depot. Trains are coming in from the top. They can either bypass, or they can go into to these locations and they're getting fed. This is one of the things that I usually don't do. You can see here that what they've done is actually they take any junk and empty it. So you can see there has been a bit of some random slag that's been picked up. If you recall my C-block base, all the trains suddenly had all the sorts of junk. They have also managed to work with liquids, something I was not able to do, by using circuits to make sure that they were actually empty before moving on. And it works. It's awesome. It's running smoothly. They've run it for a long time, so kudos to them for... Ooh, I'm not going to go out there. There are multiple of these locations. You can see here. There's another one up there. There's one here, and then one over there. So this 4 of those logistics train network stops. Now let's look at the stuff we are all interested in. The last bit of it. No, that's not working. I need to do that one. This is the rocket launch. I am unable to... This is not working, and can I, for the life of me, remember how it's done? That one. I think this is the one where I need to do it. Let's see. I'll try this one. Because this is actually, if we look at the SpaceX, you see here all the things are done except the FTL drive. So they've actually prepared the base and let me launch the last one. And there is some shenanigans here. Now this is powered, and can I remember how this is done? What is it that is needed? This enables on. What happens? That one, FTL. So I launch that one, and then we launch this one with the FTL drive. Go. And that will, you will hear the sound way before they actually start. Because the sound plays at normal speed, but the actual launch is at 1/4 the speed. So they are slowly starting up, but look at this base. It is such a shame that it doesn't perform. And imagine the time that you've been spending on... I'm just gonna move away because it's quite loud. Imagine the time they spent working on the base at this speed, at 1/4 speed. That is absolutely mind-numbing how that's been done. And look at the rockets. They're going... They're very, very slow rockets. They'll go very slowly to space. But I want to see the completion of the game so we can see how many hours were actually being played. So I want to be big thank you to Dirkus and Thierry for making the base and allowing me to review it. And also apologies to them for making it and me being such an, overstressed and not having time to review this magnificent work that they've been doing and allowing me to review it. So thank you very much. I hope you will do many more awesome projects that I'll be allowed to review, and I'll promise you that I'll do it in a more timely manner than this. So 800 hours and 802 hours of work here. This is absolutely fantastic. So thank you very much. And this is some of the awesome things that happens in the community. So if you have a base that you would like to be reviewed, if it's this awesome, then let me know. Let's talk about it. And Lily Rose also did a really cool one that we reviewed some time ago. So I hope you found this interesting. I found it absolutely fantastic. We'll be sharing the map somewhere in Discord after this. So I'll probably, let me say it like this. Look below because it's probably in the description. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you somewhere in the Factorio land.